further a society drifts from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. Very, very poignant words from one Mr. George Orwell, and very apt for the time we're living in. Which brings me on to why Hawkins. Hawkins is a character that is dangerous in many ways, and I'll explain why he's dangerous. He has the ability to create stories that people will believe. And in some cases, he is so convincing in what he does that he could actually generate somebody into doing something based upon what his lies and his storytelling has been doing. If you don't believe me that these people don't exist, they do. There's lots of them, and we have people who've stolen valor, etc. And there's an organisation called the Walter Mitty's Hunter Club. I'm going to bring your attention to this. Here we have the Walter Mitty's Hunters Club, and they are basically guys that go out for people stolen valor or people who pretend to be something they're not. Here we have Brian Lineker the Bloater. So hi to Brian Lineker. He's an all-round super guy who likes horses and medals. He does not like to brag about his brave exploits in the SAS, which is the Special Air Service, or 4-2 Commandos. He would tell you of his time crossing the line in the First Gulf War and that feeling of not knowing if he had his L2 fragmentation paper clips or 5 fully loaded staple guns for the use of. For Brian's world, in reality, was that of the Alf Garnett Corps. Yes, the AGC. The AGC was the Adjutant General's Corps, all shiny asses, all clerks, basically. That's all they were. And here we have him as a clerk. So he did serve in the military, but what he did, he's created a story for himself. As soon as we looked into Brian's seedy internet fibbery, it was a plan to see if Basic's Cumpy schoolboy errors, even using US dog tags to convince family and friends he was a major. The London Gazette is a wonderful thing and open to the public to view online. No Brian Lineker under MBE, Medal of the British Empire, or QGM, Queen's Gallantry Medal. Our contacts, also wonderful human beings, bring no SF records, which is no Special Forces records, no Para records, which is the Parachute Regiment, and no CDO, which is Commando records. From people who knew him, he was AGC at 26th Regiment Royal Artillery in Bosnia, I4. He certainly didn't have much decor when I met him. One of the clerks, a corporal at the time, described him as being unstable and talked a good war story, looking out of the window. Another, I remember him very well, shit clerk, and he was caught waffling war stories when we knew he never left his front desk. We are going to let the screenshots do most of the talking. Now, this is important. This is why Hawkins is so important to show this. Here we have the Who Dares Wins medallion. There we have the Commando tag and all these nice medals. The dog tags. Now, anybody that served will know that the British Army doesn't use this style of dog tags. Our dog tags are round. So here's an image of a British dog tag. This is American dog tags. Here's his wonderful array of medals. Here's a picture of him with the SAS lapel on his dress suit, or Noswans. And here we have people that have bought into this. This is why this is important. I want you to see how this guy has come to all these people to believe that he was ex-SAS and 4-2 Commando. Brian Welsby, proud. Love you to bliss, Brian. Julie Miller. And that's another reason why we should continue calling you Brave Brian. You and Nikki are an ace team. Love you both. So proud of you and everything you did for our country. And you can get the general gist here. All these people buying in to the lies created by this guy. That's right, this guy. A former clerk who's made out he's something he's not. He's created a title for himself. He's lied about himself. And he's made up a story that people have bought into, even to his own family, who would know everything. And here he talks about how he got it. I remember taking what was then known as religious education, i.e. I must say none of it was relevant to my everyday life, even to this day. So what is my point? I have spent the best part of 28 years of my life seeing the most horrifying things people do to each other in the name of religion. Northern Ireland, Kosovo, Bosnia, Afghanistan, to name but a few. It may be that I can now walk into any classroom and teach the importance of how and why we should live and let live. To be honest, if you live by the rule, there is no such thing as a bad pet. Such a bad mentor, you will never be far. Just as a bad mentor, you will never be far wrong. To all you teachers, potential otherwise, I say to you that you are teaching the minds that will set a generation the aspect you portray. You will have a definitive effect on your next generation. Here we go again, Brian Lineker. On 25th of June 1984, at the age of 16, I joined the forces as a private soldier. On 13th of February 2013, I retired as a major, having been awarded my MBE and my Queen's Medal for Gallantry. Please be aware I am not bragging, as I am also a victim of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and deal with it daily and help those around me who understand the battle. The forces gave me no support at all, but those around me never failed to pick me up and carry me when I needed it. Thank you, you know who you are. But a special big life-saving thank you to Nikki Di Macedo, who has never failed me, always picked me up and sat with me through my many flashbacks. I'll never be able to thank you with words or actions. You have been and always be that special part of my heart. So here's this here. You see, so there is a guy making up stories, and now you see the reality of this. He's an absolute Billy bullshitter because people know this. But so many people bought into this guy's lie, they believed him. Which leads me now to the creme de la creme of why I'm doing this. You see, remember I told you about MDA, McDonald's, Detwiller and Associates. I want you to take close attention because the Wayback Machine is a lovely thing. It's a great tool. This is the 29th of November 2003. What I want to pay particular attention to is here, November the 6th, 2003. Here we are the Canadian American special investors in McDonnell Detwiller selling defense simulation and technologies to global terror groups. I tell you now, it's beyond anything that Hawkins goes after groups and organisations without any rhyme or reason and makes up stories about them. You know, this is really interesting stuff. Here we go. Are the Canadian American specialists in McDonald's dealt with a self-defense simulation technologies global terror group? November 6, 2003. Open online correspondence with George Bush, President of the United States of America, Colin Kennedy, Chair of Senate Standing Committee, National Security and Defence, Miss Sheila Fraser, Auditor General of Canada, the Honourable Lucien Robelin, PC, MP, President, Treasury Board of Canada, Mike Donaldson, Research Department Official to Opposition Party of Canada, copy to the Honourable Joe Clark, MP, RCMP and Media, from David Hawkins, founder of the Citizens Association of Forensic Economists at Hawks Cafe. Here he goes on about all these people being involved in weapons sales, and including in here is the MDA press release, and it shows you here what he's on about is the links here. So let's open up the links here of the people that are contributors, which has taken time. But here is the first link, which is to do with this CIA private equity, and these are the investors. They're talking of special investors. That if you look at this, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names out of a list of possibly 20. Hang on, let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So he's got 24 names there, and he's taken 6 out of it. And he's gone through all these bits and pieces to create a story. So what is he accusing? He's accusing them through this. So let's read this bit here. CAA and our portfolio companies benefit from the participation of our special investors, a group of seasoned leaders, most of whom have spent their careers running large and diverse businesses. Collectively, they have served as directors of over 100 leading North American companies. The Special Investors Network I've lost my place. North American companies. The Special Investors Network is a valuable resource for the CAI as a source of intelligence across a variety of industries and geographies across Canada and the US. The Special Investors enhances CAI's due diligence and deal origination capabilities and assists our portfolio companies by identifying and creating opportunities for investment and growth, as well as on occasions serving on the boards of those companies listed below. Doesn't sound about weapons sales and everything else, but yes, some of these people probably are involved in weapons sales, but are they involved in terrorism? No, but here we have him talking about them selling defense simulation training technologies to these organizations. Based on what evidence? On that's the evidence. But let's have a look at the list of the investors, contributors, and this is to the minister are looking at the people involved in donations to Strategica, which is all information, yeah, that's online. You can get it. You can find it. It's ready to be. So it's transparent. So why is that somehow, yeah, a problem? Records of Maha Alspeak as a $5,000 contribution to Sheila Copp's election campaign for the left-wing leadership of the Liberal Party of Canada. So what? If he wants to put his money there, he wants to put his money there. It doesn't prove anything. Anyway, MDA wins key US aviation contract, italics are mine. So this is May the 3rd, 2001. Like I said, I gave you the audit from 2003. The initial award, valued at $2.9 million Canadian, consists of a fixed price element to develop, integrate and test the system. The next phase will include installation, government testing and operator training. The contract includes an option for the US Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) to adapt the systems for their needs. The US Air Force also has options to field the successful system at up to 108 air bases around the world, and to be awarded a T&M support contracts for up to 8 years. MDA plans to team up with Air Navigation Data and of Ottawa to offer a custom solution based on AN's financial approach product. What's wrong with that? IAP publishes public instructions for pilots specifying the series of aircraft maneuvers that must be executed for the aircraft to transition safely from en route airway to a runway final approach when flying. So this is talking about air traffic control. Air traffic control. And of course, how this links in, because he's trying to link it into 9/11, is because he's trying to say that the air traffic control people were involved in the 9/11 attacks, the teachers union. In fact, the only person he hasn't blamed for 9/11 is Colonel Sanders. But I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't done that by now. So, take from it what you want. There is evidence here that he's been doing this since 2003, which is what, 17 years? Over 17 years he's been carrying this game of grudge against this company. No mention of Christine Marcy at that time, this big, mega important person. Now, that didn't happen until after he met Phil McConnell. That started in 2007 after Christine Marcy basically questioned his mental sanity and basically said he was barking mad. Hawkins is dangerous. Do not underestimate that. Oh, and for those who don't know, there will be a special presentation video dedicated to one of my fans coming this week. A very interesting person. Fascinating reads I've had on this guy. And they exist, which makes it more interesting. So stand by for that. Because I will always give evidence. If you cannot prove somebody is something, or you accuse somebody of something, have the evidence. Give the evidence. If you fail to do so, then you are part of the problem. Toodle pips.